stood out to you at linebacker through 5 practices? First couple names that come to mind. And at striker, what have been your early thoughts on who's looked good?
Linebacker, it's great to see all these guys back. Zach, obviously, the older guy in the room. Good to see him out running around in the box. I think he's really getting a hold of playing inside. Sam, Sam coming off the shoulder after the bowl game, getting him back. He's still obviously, he's only a sophomore. He's still got a lot to learn, but just his athletic ability, him able to read and react and run, being as long and the weight that he's gained, that he really had a good summer, a good off season. So he's been good. Corey Flagg, the guy the young man we signed out of Houston, comes from a great program, coached well, understands how to play linebacker, natural inside guy, knows how to fit. He's just a ball junkie. He wants to know what everybody's doing on the field. So it's really good to see him. But, like we said going into this thing, well, really going into spring, that it was going to be an open competition, and that's what it is. So, there's really guys competing out there. And then as far as the striker, I thought Keontre's done a heck of a job. He's really coming along. You think of him as an older guy almost, with Romeo being that guy for the last 2 years, but he's only a sophomore. He's a coach pleaser, hard worker, head down, going to do everything it takes to be a great player, which you love to see. And then Gilbert coming back, smart, can line up the entire defense. Sometimes he does that. If he's out there with young guys, young DBs, he's helping them guys out, getting the line. Obviously coming over from corner a year ago, so he knows corner, safety, and striker. So understands the defense, understands what we're trying to do. So he is that old guy in that room, and just very cerebral when it comes to football.
Thanks so much.
Great. Coach, next we're going to go to Manny Navarro at The Athletic. Manny, if you had a question for Coach Patke.
Hey, Coach, hope everything's well.
Great.
I wanted to ask you, I just asked Lou about, who's kind of the backup punter or who's working with the punters now. He mentioned a grad transfer. Obviously, you guys had Spicer last year. And then also just the return man. I know you said in the spring it's going to be about, who's got the best hands, especially on punt returns. I'm wondering who, you've got working on punt returns and then also on kick returns, if you can kind of fill us in on what's going on with those positions.
Right. We got a grad transfer, Matthias Gask from Stetson. Actually, Jose is the guy that reached out to me, said that he was a grad transfer looking to come back this way. He's from down here. And a guy just with a lot of, wanted to come to grad school at Miami, had been a punter, had started in games, has been a holder. And I think it was a perfect fit, to back up Louis. And not to back, like I told him, I said, we got a great punter. But, the way I am is let's compete for the job. But he adds a lot of, he has the depth that we need at that position. And a guy we can trust that's been in games before, good leg. And again, he can hold. So we thought it was a steal to get him in our program. And then returners, punt returner, like I've always said, we need a punt catcher before we need a punt returner. We need a guy to field the football. It's the easiest way to lose a football game is to drop that ball, and it's not an easy task. It's a hard job. It's a nerve-wracking job. Everybody, all eyes on you with that ball in the air. So, these first 6 days of camp, we've been rotating guys through, and we record them every day. We see how they catch the ball, how they field the ball, who has a good feel from it. Right now, Mark Pope has a great feel, I believe. Really, I would say he's standing out right now just as catching the punts. But again, we still got a long time to go. So, we got 10 guys out there usually pre-practice catching balls, and we just want to see who can do it. And with the world that we're in right now, you never know. We might need multiple people catching punts. And then kickoff return, again, rolling guys back there. We had kickoff return today. We probably had 8 returners touch the ball. So, you love a young guy, if they can handle it, like Rooster, to take that role because he's such an explosive player. But again, Mark Pope's back there. You got Harley back there. you got a whole bunch of guys. And again, they know it's open competition. I'm looking for a guy that can fill the ball. And our big goal is after the play, we have the football and we're on offense.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Coach, next up, we're going to go to Matt Shodell at Kane Sport. Matt, if you had a question for Coach Patke.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Can you talk a little about, Jose Borregales? Fans obviously saw him in one game last year. Maybe don't know a lot about him. How's he looked? And is it like a big difference maybe in your confidence level? I mean, Manny had to go for a lot of fourth downs last year outside even the 20-yard line. Like, is this sort of like, okay, we've got it, like you're that confident already with him?
Absolutely. Definitely confident in the guy's talent. Again, adding an older guy that's played in a lot of football, has kicked at a high level for a long time, going into his fifth year. So, you have confidence in him. Again, we got to see him do it in the game. But at practice day, in a live period, we saw him kick a 52-yarder, and it was probably good from 60 with a little side wind. So he has all the talent. I'm just amazed to watch the guy work. He carries himself like a pro, like a veteran, and guys just respect him. And obviously we were looking for that. We needed that. Add that to this team, and it makes our whole team better. Like you said, it makes us more confident to trot our field goal team out there and expect points. But that all counts on Saturday. But to watch him prepare, to work, obviously speaking to him over quarantine, he's always working. Always going to find a way to kick. He's just carries himself like a pro.
Coach Patke, next we're going to go to David Lake at 24/7 Sports. David, if you had a question for Coach.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask you just more about the striker position between Keontre and Gilbert. Do you view them as guys that might bring different skill sets to the position? Maybe Gilbert being a coverage guy and Keontre being more of a physical guy, maybe. Is that fair to say or not?
Yeah, and also right now we got Ryan Rigoni out there at striker, and he's taking reps out there and doing a great job. Ryan's really a guy that can play all three linebackers. He's just a very savvy guy, understands the defense. So he's also out there with us right now. But as far as Keontre and Gilbert, I think they're similar. They're both smart. They both physical. They can be very physical. I think Keontre, when we signed him out of high school, we knew how physical he was. He's a great tackler, played a lot in the box. He actually played what we call striker in high school a lot. So he's very used to what we ask him to do. And then Gilbert has a year under his belt. But, I think they bring different things, but very similar in some sorts. Gilbert's a little taller, but, I think they're both – it's going to be fun to watch through this camp to see who's going to, take that job over. And obviously we want to play multiple people, but, I want to see them battle it out. And again, Ryan's in the mix. Ryan's been great for us. And he could, like I said, he could end up inside, outside. He's going to kind of be a utility guy for us.
Awesome. Coach, last up we have Chris Perkins of Sports Illustrated. Chris, if you had a question for Coach Patke.
Hey, Coach, I'm wondering, overall on special teams, are you guys fairly young? Are you fairly experienced? I know you're returning a few key people and missing those practices in the spring. How is that going to affect your units, all your units coverage and return?
Yeah, great question. The first guy that pops into mind is a couple seniors that we lose. We lost Shaq, that started on punt for 4 years. Rob Knowles, which was a big special teams guy. Jimmy Murphy, great special teams guy. We're looking for that guy, the next guy, to beat him. But, we also played a lot of young guys last year. Guys that come to mind, to Corey Couch, Christian Williams. Those guys come back. We always say, to make this team better, we'll play. We lose KJ Osborne, so we're obviously looking for a returner to take his footsteps. But young guys, old guys, NFL guys, we tell them all the time, you want to play in the NFL, you need to play teams. Like TC and Christian, they're a year older. I expect them to be a year better. But now, you start going through your depth charts. And, yeah, you see a lot of the young guys. We signed those young safeties. We signed a lot of linebackers, so you got a lot more linebacker bodies. So you look, that second and third deep, there's a lot of young guys on that depth chart. So you do miss the spring to get all those guys reps, those early enrollees that could have been taking reps and learning techniques. Now you squeeze, 4 or 5 weeks of spring practice and 4 or 5 weeks of camp into basically 5 weeks of camp. So you're trying to work their techniques. They're trying to learn the systems. So it's just, it happens quick. But, I think we're talented, we're fast, and we do bring back some key parts. And obviously the major part we bring back is our snapper, our punter. And we got a great kicker that we signed. So, but absolutely, we got to teach those guys, those young guys, that it is important. We always say to our special teams, it's special to be on special teams. You should take pride in it. And we try to sell that to our guys daily.
A quick follow-up, if I could. A lot of times in the NFL, the special teams coaches will say, a lot of these guys, it's their first time playing special teams because they were so good. Do you run into that in college that, a lot of these guys, they didn't play special teams because they were doing so much other stuff down to down?
I think you have to be a special player. And obviously we look at that when we build our depth charts. You look at depths of position. You look at, how many snaps are they going to take offensively, defensively, and what kind of type of player they are. But, if you have a special player without not a lot of, depth at that position, you're kind of weary to put them on special teams all the time because you're not going to try to wear that guy down. I'd rather play a young guy that's going to be highly, energetic and full of energy, not wore down from playing 80 snaps on defense. As long as I can trust them, I'm all for playing young guys and guys that get to the ball and protect the ball on the return unit. So, but I do think there's specialty players that can't always play on teams. But, like we showed the video the other day, Shaq's 4-year started at linebacker, drafted and started every game on punt and took a great deal of pride in it. So there are NFL guys and KJ Osborne, like I tell the returners, I know his draft stock went up because he led the ACC in punt return. So, that's the kind of things we tell our guys. And our guys do a great job. They want to be on teams. They really do. They embrace it. They like it. I got guys coming up to me all the time. Hey, coach, let me get on that. Let me get on punt. Let me get on punt return. Let me do all these things. So, we're blessed with some guys that love to play special teams.
Thanks.
Awesome. Coach, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon down the line. Good luck rest of camp.
Great to see all you guys.
Awesome.